Hey everyone, my name is Crystal and I'm currently an intern at Advocates for Youth. My internship site was a little bit unique compared to everyone else's because my internship was split into two different departments. And I think that was probably the first time that Advocates has done that. So it's been really interesting and really great to be able to be part of two different departments because there was a lot of exposure and a lot of different projects that I was able to work on. Now that you know my internship site is Advocates for Youth, you're probably wondering how many hours I work in a week as well as the workload I have outside of the internship. I work 35 hours in a week, which is 7 hours in a day, Monday through Friday. And in terms of the workload outside of the internship, it's very minimal. They really stressed to me that I should only be working from the time I clock in to the time I clock out. I picked Advocates for Youth as my internship site just because their vision, mission, and values matched up exactly what I was looking for in an organization. And basically their vision is that sexuality is accepted as a healthy part of being human, and that youth sexual development is recognized as normal. Their mission is also to advocate for policies and programs to create sexual health equity for all youth, and their values are right, respect, and responsibility. Another reason why I picked Advocates for Youth as my internship site is because of the location. Because COVID happened, I don't live on campus anymore. I live at home. So the commute to Towson would have been pretty brutal, about an hour. But then it was just a bonus that, Advocates for Youth was located in DC, which is only 20 minutes away from me. So, yeah. There's a lot of considerations you need to make when selecting an internship site, but for me, there were 4 specific things that I had to consider before selecting Advocates for Youth. I considered the topics that interested me, the agency's mission, vision, and values, career interest, and the internship location. Advocates for Youth has a cooperative agreement with the CDC, and basically I am supporting Advocates Dash, Sexual Health Services Department, and one of the focuses is on student-led campaigns. I created a presentation on how to implement a student-led campaign for school districts to use. This presentation was reviewed and approved by the CDC, and it focused on 6 key components of implementing a student-led campaign. We used Advocates for Youth National Youth HIV/AIDS Awareness Day campaign as a prime example of how to implement a student-led campaign by cross-referencing it to the key components that we have put into the presentation. Throughout this entire process, my preceptor Mary Beth and her colleague Caitlin basically guided me in what materials I should reference to create the presentation. They also revised it a few times, actually a lot of times, before we had the CDC review it. And basically this presentation is for a training webinar that we're going to have in December, which I'm also taking a lead on and facilitating it. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity that Advocates have provided me, and I'm just looking forward to it. In the beginning of my internship, my preceptors Mary Beth and Armante suggested that I do virtual coffees, which is basically, having like 30 minutes talking to an Advocates team member and like just getting to know more about what they do, as well, just building a network with them. So I really enjoyed the virtual coffees, and I really enjoyed the direct involvement I had with the organization. So I didn't feel like I was doing petty work, or I felt like, I was just there to work for them. but I really felt like I was a part of their team, and I think that was my most favorite part of being at Advocates, or, still being here at Advocates. Like, I really love that they value me as a team member, and they also value whatever suggestions I have. I would say my least favorite part of the internship would be just Zoom burnout. There wasn't anything that I didn't like doing at Advocates. It was more of the fact that it was very tiring meeting up with everyone almost every day, I feel like, and there would be multiple meetings throughout the day. So it just felt like, oh, I need a break. I feel like I've been on call. It was just a lot, but like that's the only thing we could do because of COVID. So I'm sure that a lot of people who had videos or calls online were experiencing Zoom burnout. Honestly, I learned a lot at Towson, and I really thought that everything that I've learned would be something that I wouldn't use in real life, but I was actually so wrong. During my internship, I had the opportunity to create goals and objectives, research resources for all of the projects that I am working on. I also brought up using a logic model and needs assessment during one of the meetings I had with a school district, and even though I didn't show them exactly what a logic model or needs assessment was, I was able to inform them or, let them know about what it is so they could use it for their school district. So I thought that was pretty cool that I was able to use what I learned at Towson at my internship site. Also, for the goals and objectives, in one of my projects, I was able to teach school districts about how to create an objective, which I included that it should follow SMART. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Honestly, there's nothing that I really wished Towson had taught me, but something I wish I would have learned at Towson but didn't would be how to cope with anxiety and fear of public speaking. I know we have to take a public speaking class and also go through trainings through LinkedIn with anxiety, but I just feel like rather than giving a list or the materials of what to do, I feel like we should have practiced it during class, just because we are getting ready for, the real world and like getting ready to start our careers. So I feel like that would have been really helpful, especially when we started our internship. That way it would have been like a smoother transition for us, or for those who do struggle with anxiety. And another thing would be that I wished I learned how to facilitate meetings. I know we had experiences and they did teach us. I just wished that we had more exposure to it. So again, there wasn't really anything that Towson didn't teach me, but more things that I wish I was more exposed to. So definitely facilitating meetings would have been very helpful, just because my internship was all on Zoom and all on calls. So it was kind of nerve-wracking trying to lead certain calls or lead presentations, because I felt like I wasn't prepared enough to, perform. So you're all probably finishing up your 300 level classes and getting ready for your 400 level classes. And some of the advices I can give you all would be to take care of yourself. So that means, doing things that allows you to just unwind and like de-stress. So that could be getting your favorite meal, taking a walk outside, listening to music, dancing. Just like really make the time to take care of yourself, even if you have a lot of schoolwork, because you can't function and do the things that you need to do if you're not at your best or if you don't feel your best. So it's important to take care of yourself. Another piece of advice would be to stay organized, and being organized is also a part of, overlaps with managing your time well. So stay organized could be buying a planner, putting down your schedule or making a schedule for every day or for the week, and just noticing what your capacity is for each time frame. That way you can also reach out to your professors and let them know, hey, this has been a really heavy week for me. I think I need some time. Can I get an extension? Because the earlier you're able to reach out and ask for help, the easier it's going to be for professors to be like, hey, okay, I understand where you're coming from. Give me a date of how long you need an extension for, and like we'll see what we could do. Like, definitely communicating with your professors and like knowing your capacity is a part of staying organized and like managing your time well. And my last piece of advice would be definitely to always ask questions, just because I feel like I know a lot of people are afraid to ask questions because they don't want to sound dumb, but who cares if you sound dumb, because at the end of the day, it's only going to help you understand whatever you need to know better. So yeah, just always ask questions, and just don't be afraid of doing that, because it's better to ask questions now, make mistakes now, learn from your mistakes now, before you go into the real world, or like before you start your internship. But even then, if you make mistakes at your internship site, it's normal, because it's supposed to be a learning experience, and you should definitely ask questions there, because that's the one place where it's really going to push you to grow.